This is Danny with QuadLugs, and this is a build tips on how to improve the connection between the basswood and the lug. There are a couple of things that can happen that will loosen the connection or make it not really tight. And one is, of course, humidity. Lower humidity, the wood shrinks, higher expands. Compression, what I call compression of the wood. If you have an accident or through usage after a while, the wood become compressed and you'll get a little bit of a wiggle. And I left this kind of loose here just to show, but you'll get where it's a looser fit. And also we have our basswood milled for us, but the lugs won't move. The tolerances, the holes are set, and they're not going to vary very much, if any. The wood, though, if it's off just a little bit, a fraction of a millimeter, you can get this, where it's a little loose fitting in there. So if you use this method, it'll correct all the items I just spoke of to give you a really good fit between the basswood and the lug. So let's get started with it. And what you need to do, or what I recommend, if you're going to do it at the initial build, that's great. That's really good. It doesn't hurt anything. So if you go ahead and build your frame, you have all of your screws in. Go ahead and put all the screws into the frame. The only thing that you're going to lack to complete it is going to be the pan and the deck. So get to that point. If you have some play in it, and the main concern is going to be here, the motor arms here, and where the motor arm lugs connect to the body here. So that's going to be your here and here. That's going to be your major concern, I guess. If the feet are a little wobbly or have a little play rather, it won't hurt anything. The 90s, all that won't hurt anything at all. However, if you want to do it, you can use this method on anything, any part where the wood fits into the lug. So, it's up to you. You can definitely do it. But get it to the point, if you want to do it the initial build, go ahead and get it all put together like I was saying, all the lugs screwed in. The only thing you will not have in again is the pan and the deck. And then you'll have to disassemble it. Go ahead and take these two screws out. You can pull the front end off, like that. And then you can undo this screw, and you can pull this assembly out. And go ahead and pull these off, and you're ready to, go ahead and start and put some CA. What we're going to be doing is putting some CA, and then after that a kicker on the wood. So get to this point, pull this off. You can disassemble the whole thing. You could, it's just as easy, I guess, at this point. Just pull this piece off. Go ahead and pull this piece off. So 4 screws, this comes off. Take these screws off, pull it off the frame, and then you can do the frame, put the kicker on, and then put it all back together. And it'll be simple that way. 2 screws, 2 screws, these 2 screws, these 2 screws. Remove everything off of the body. Then you have these 2 pieces. Go ahead and apply and put it back together. Pretty easy. It just takes a few minutes to do that. I have one broken down, and and by the way, this is some of our new colors, yellow, and I have here, yellow and white. We have quite a few different combinations. Check out our site and see what you think. Okay, I set up a sample here, and what I've done, I've put the wood in, and I kind of stressed it to make it loose on purpose. So you can see here where this would be the frame is very loose, and the motor arm is also loose. You can see that. So let's go ahead and take it apart and see how the fix works. So we'll go ahead and unscrew it. Okay, then we'll go ahead and put a towel down. Okay. And we'll go ahead and remove the frame. And, you know, let me do this prior to doing it. Let's line this back up. And we'll go ahead and put a mark on either side. You won't be able to see it after it's put back together. And that's just going to allow us to determine where to put the CA at. We're going to do the same thing on here. Now, on the arm, now you do not have to do both of these at the same time. You don't have to do any of this until it's needed, unless you want to do it at the build. I would really suggest not doing it at the build unless you have a particular place where you have a problem. And when you are putting these together, just please remember that you may have a little play whenever you get to this point with everything screwed together. You may have a little bit of play here at the frame where the arm lug fits the frame. But when you put the pan in and you screw the pan in from the top into these pieces here, into the reinforcement piece here, or into the motor arm lug and a reinforcement piece, that usually locks all this in together. And if you did have a little bit of movement, it goes away at that point. So I wouldn't overreact on it unless it's just, you know, the wood or the humidity was really low, lower than where we shipped it from, and or if the wood was, you know, quite a bit smaller. And you know, that'd be your choice. But I guess what I would do is go ahead and put it all together. Go ahead and fit the, you know, trim and fit the pan in, screw the pan in, and see the fit if you're concerned about it before you go and do this, because a lot of times you're doing this not even necessary unless you just want to. So take that in consideration when you do it. Now, if your arms have, you know, play, make sure you tighten this up, you know, really tight, because, you know, that locks this arm down and it locks this piece down onto the frame. So until you do that, you know, I wouldn't overreact on these either. So we have this marked, and we'll go ahead and put us some CA on. And we'll go ahead and you want that to, you know, dry a little bit. And as I've said in some of my, I have a video already out on this, and really the reason why I'm making this one is to get a little bit more in depth with it, and to actually, you know, say that you can use kicker on this to speed it up. Because I had mentioned that, you know, to, you know, wait a couple of hours, and if you could wait overnight, you know, and that still holds true. If you do that, then you don't need the kicker, you know, which, you know, is really not necessary if you do it that way. I kind of prefer to let it wait a little while because it does soak in a lot better, and, you know, it gives it time to actually soak into the wood. So, and nothing you want to, you know, so you can do it that way. That's my preferred method. But if you're in a hurry or you need to do it quickly, you know, kicker you definitely can use. Make sure you do this in a, you know, ventilated area. This thing will put off some fumes, and it'll irritate your eyes. And I guess it's just do it in a ventilated area. Okay, now that we have it on there and it dried for just a little while, you know, kind of wipe off the excess, because if you don't, it's going to be almost impossible to get in here. That is that tight. Now, if it does happen, and you can, use a little bit of sandpaper and, sand it down just a hair bit, so it'll fit in there a little bit easier. If not, you're going to have a tough time getting it back in there. That's how well it works. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little kicker on here because that's what we were showing on this. There we go. I need to fill my bottle up again. I wound up putting too much on here because I'm trying to get it to come out. Again, get you a ventilated area whenever you do this. Really smart. Let's go ahead and wipe the excess off the kicker. And what we want to do now, we're going to take an 1/8 inch bit, and when you put this on, the holes are, you're not going to get your screw back in there very easily. So we'll just go ahead and ream out or pass the bit through the hole one more time. Just put a little bit of pressure on it. It'll follow its way through and it'll pull itself through. And that way you won't enlarge the hole there. If you're using a big drill, please be careful because you can really, mess up the, you can really enlarge the hole if you don't watch it. So very little pressure, let it pull itself through and it'll follow the path it had before. So now we're ready to put it back together. And I'm just going to kind of do a trial run with the screw. There we go. There we go. And let's go ahead and see if I can get that back in. Let's put it the other way. So whenever you put it on, if you have a real loose fit, then I wouldn't wipe off all of the CA, just leave it a little bit thicker and then put your kicker on. Or, as I say, the best way to do it is let it go overnight, or let it go for a couple of hours rather, I'm sorry. And it'll soak into the wood really good. So we're ready to put it back together. Now let's go ahead and get this put back together. You can see now, no movement whatsoever. Tight. Let's check this one. Tight. We're in good shape. Everything is good. So anyway, that's how you fix it, or that's how you can take care of that problem if you have, if it's through shrinkage, less humidity in your area, or compression, as I call it, when if the wood is stressed through an accident or just flying it quite a while. Handling it a lot can do that, or rough handling can do it too. Or if the wood dimensionally is a little bit too small for the parts, and that does happen. We normally test it. Sometimes a piece or two slip through. It's not far off if it does ever happen, and it can definitely be corrected that way. So there you go, and it really tightens it up and takes care of it. So there you go. If you have any problems with the fit, this will definitely take care of it. Please give it a try. I think you're gonna like it. It works really good. Anyway, I know you're gonna like it because it works very, very good. Anyway, this is Danny with QuadLugs. I'll see you on another build tips, and thanks very much.